Dear friends, welcome back to Akshadare. I'm your Devraj. Today is 23rd September 2023. I hope you guys are enjoying learning and also enjoying your English communication learning. And before going to start today's newspaper reading, I would request you guys to please subscribe the channel and like and comment. If you like the video, please share so somebody can utilize the opportunities. So let's start today newspaper reading and see. Let's see what's in today news, especially. Speeding makes KIA expressway deadly. Bar on visas to be enforced globally. BJP MP Biduri's remarks trigger row. MR during prayer in Maharashtra. State to comply with the CWRC order on water release. Sports Minister will skip Asia inauguration as China boss entry of Arunachal players. Speeding lack of pedestrian facilities make AI Expressway a deadly stretch. Jaipur Flyover has emerged as one of the notorious spots on the stretch with 27 accidents and 18 fatalities reported during the 2022 period. Sana Private Varsity we see among two killed in bike accident. Diplomatic spat wouldn't impact Indian students in Canada. India's suspension of visa for Canadians will not impact students traveling from Canada to India, says VC of York University. Students found dead in apartment complex. Tila's painted forest wallpapers. Aratrika Dev Varman's latest collab, launched at the Art Design Show 2023, features hand-drawn botanical patterns inspired from the time he spent in the lush environs of Chennai's Amethyst Cafe, says Surya Prapulla Kumar. The patterns are all hand-drawn and colored using a range of mediums such as watercolor, gouache, mixed media, and pencil, and then digitally printed. Register offices to function from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. to handle search in applications. The timings are applicable till September 30. The new revised guidance value 25 to 30% higher than the existing rate will come into effect from October 1st. Former Congress councillors to meet Deputy CM over BBMP elections. IIITB Bangalore gets a Greener University Award 2023. IAS officers are transferred. Corporate firms are showing interest in procuring metro cards in bulk. PMRCL. Nationwide workshop. Nationwide workshop is for Bureau of Indian Standard has initiated nationwide sensitization workshops for Gram Panchayats across the country in an endeavor to ensure the effective implementation of government schemes in villages. BIS has undertaken a comprehensive initiative to sensitize Gram Panchayat presidents and secretaries. BJP formally welcomes the JDS into NDA fold ahead of LS polls. Seat sharing between the parties will be decided at an auspicious time after the SRA, says HDK. Formulate a scheme to allow all authorized registration plate manufacturers to fix HSRP on old vehicles, HC tells state government. Youth Department ties up with Rajkumar Academy for Civil Services coaching. Government to allow adoption of 550 monuments by private sector. State Cabinet recommends OBC tag for Kunchitiga community. Karnataka to comply with the CWRC at Kaveri dispute. Farmers output calls for Mandya Bandh today. Drop Bandh call, says DKS. Report proposes fund half funds to boost startups. India and the great power contest in West Asia. Let's read this editorial page editorial article. At the G20 summit in New Delhi earlier this month, United States President Joe Biden and other unveiled a US-backed infrastructure project to connect India, West Asia, and Europe with shipping lanes, rail networks, pipelines, and data cables. A week earlier, a high-level US delegation had visited Saudi Arabia, chasing a normalization agreement between the Sunni kingdom and the Jewish state of Israel. Two of America's allies in the region, these seemingly unrelated but geopolitically contiguous developments offer a broad framework of Mr. Biden's approach towards West Asia, a geostrategically important region where the US had a domineering presence for decades, but which is now being challenged by multiple factors. Two-part policy. Mr. Biden's West Asia strategy has two parts. One is the continuation of the Trump era policy of bringing America's two pillars in the region, the Gulf Arabs and Israel, closer to meet their common geopolitical challenges such as Iran's rise. The Abraham Accords reached under Mr. Trump's tutelage set the stage for the transformation of Israel's ties with the United Arab Emirates, but the true potential of this policy would not be reached unless there is a deal between Israel and Saudi Arabia, arguably the most influential Arab country today. Mr. Biden, who as a candidate had vowed to make Saudi Arabia the that they are, has come a long way as president in reaching out to the kingdom. The administration believes that a Saudi Israel deal would transform Arab Israel ties, strengthening the US position in the region without further military commitments. The second part of Mr. Biden's proposal is to reassure America's friends and allies that the US is not existing in West Asia. In 2012, leaders of India, Israel, the US, and the UAE held a virtual summit of what is now called the IUU2 minilateral. The idea behind I2U2 is to create a new platform that could expedite economic integration between West Asia and South Asia and offer economic and technological solutions to the problems faced by the global South. India's presence in a grouping of the Abraham Accords countries was seen as a legitimate recognition of India's presence in the region. The India Middle East Europe corridor announced at the G20 summit referred to in the first paragraph enhances New Delhi's standing. It seeks to build an economic corridor from India's western coast through the Gulf, the UAE, and Saudi Arabia, the Jordan, and Israel to the Mediterranean, bringing India and Europe closer. If this project takes up, the US hopes that it could retain its channels of influence in West Asia, control the major shipping lanes, and assure its allies of its staying capacity. The US may not wanted to exit West Asia, but it has deprioritized the region in terms of its security commitments as its focus has shifted back to Eastern Europe and East Asia. But the US deprioritization of the region does not diminish the strategic value or potential of West Asia. As the US is pivoting to East Asia, China, which is dependent on imports for over 70% of its oil requirements, is enhancing its focus on West Asia. China has not only emerged as the biggest trading partner of America's Gulf Arab allies and a major investor in the region, but has also shown a willingness to play a bigger role as peacemaker, which was evident in the Iran-Saudi reconciliation agreement. This poses a dilemma to the US. Deprioritization of the region is a strategic reality for Washington, as it is now facing far bigger conventional challenges in Russia and China. But it cannot just exit West Asia because China would try to fill the vacuum. America's answer to this challenge is to forge closer ties between its allies in the region and strengthen the US security architecture and bring India in as a bigger, stable partner to write the new rules of economic engagement and integration. Competing with China, India seems willing to take this bet. New West Asia, but it is to be seen how far the Biden plan would help the US retain or extend its influence in the region at a time when China is trying to do the same thing. Primarily, the Biden plan is dependent on a potential Saudi Israel deal, but let us say such a deal is not improbable. Saudi Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman said in an interview recently that both sides are getting closer to each other every day. Even if a deal is materialized in the nature of near future, there are other challenges. The US deprioritization of the region has loosened its grip on its allies and left a security vacuum, which have collectively prompted regional powers to autonomize their foreign policies and they take steps toward a more predictable engagement with both friends and foes. This was evident in the Saudi UAE detente with Iran. The decision to hand the Saudi led blockade of Qatar and the Arab reconciliation with Syria's Bashar al Assad. Saudi Arabia and the UAE are also trying to formulate policies independent of US goals and strengthening ties with rising powers. Their decision to join the BRICS grouping Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa is a case in point. So they might welcome America's diplomatic push or economic integration plan, but they may not remain client states like they were during the Cold War and the unipopular war anymore. Second, the Biden administration, despite its limited engagement, continues to see Iran as a hostile power. Also, the rivalry between the Iran and Israel would remain the central geopolitical contradiction of West Asia. By reaching a detente with Iran, Gulf Arabs have made it clear that they would not like to get stuck in the Iran Israel rivalry, which has the potential to spill over into a conflict. Such an outcome would destabilize the region again, derailing America's plan to stay as a benevolent great power. Multiple avenues are for India. For India, the US-China competition in West Asia opens new avenues of engagement. The US sees India with its size, the size of its economy, and the legacy of its historical engagement and cultural connect with the region as an important partner in its ability to continue to shape West Asia's geopolitics. India should welcome the movement but should not look at it through the prism of another world Cold War, or it should not put all its eggs in one basket as it did in Afghanistan. It is already part of the near functional international north-south transport corridor that connects India to Russia through Iran and Central Asia. The Middle East corridor would open another economic channel. India's overall policy towards the region should stay anchored in this idea of multi-engagement, not in appeasing or containing any great power with or without the US or irrespective of China's presence in the region. India should strive to play a major geopolitical role in West Asia. Its extended neighborhood without upsetting its traditional balance. Let's go to the next page. It's about the national news. A clear message to industry on a dispute resolution. Let's read this. Director of Council of Arbitration. Any conversation about the Indian litigation system eventually veers towards the term alternative dispute resolution. ADR refers to a bucket of mechanisms that enables disputing parties to resolve their differences amicably without the intervention of courts. Given the delays in Indian courts proceedings and the increasing cost of litigation, the significance of ADR in India cannot be understood. Until recently, these discussions largely focused on arbitration or conciliation of disputes under the Arbitration and Conciliation Act 1996A and C Act, but mediation of disputes is finally getting its due. In the recent monsoon session of Parliament, both houses passed the Mediation Bill 2023, and upon receiving the assent of the President of India, is referred to as the Mediation Act 2023. The Act. The Indian legal framework already encourages courts to refer the disputing parties to ADR procedures, including mediation if there were elements of settlement which the parties may accept. The Act will take this engagement a step forward, irrespective of a prior mediation agreement. It will obligate each party to take steps to settle their dispute through pre-litigation mediation before approaching an Indian court. To facilitate this process, the Act will also require courts and relevant institutions to maintain a panel of mediators. Many benefits. The potential benefits are several. This requirement is expected to reduce the filing of frivolous claims before Indian courts. Owing to the confidentiality of a mediation, it may also mitigate the risk of a deterioration of the parties' relationship due to a publicly fought dispute. At the same time, concerns are raised about the feasibility of a mediation conducted under the sword happen obligation as opposed to a sincere desire to arrive at an amicable resolution. In the latter scenario, this may empower a recalcitrant dependent to delay a genuine claim. Fortunately, the Act will provide some safeguards against these concerns. On the one hand, it will require the mediation to ordinarily to be conducted by an empaneled mediator who must always be neutral and have uncompromising expertise. Subject to an extension by the parties, they must also complete the mediation within 180 days from the parties' first appearance. On the other hand, the Act will not remove the refuge of Indian courts entirely. A party may, in exceptional circumstances, seek urgent interim reliefs from a court before the commencement of or during the continuation of a mediation. These provisions prioritize expertise and efficiency while ensuring that the obligation of pre-litigation mediation is not weaponized. The aim is to create a balanced framework which encourages the parties to focus more on their commercial dealings and less on their disputes. The aspect of mediation and arbitration. In these discussions, however, one aspect has gone unnoticed. The Act will effectively position mediation similar to commercial arbitration in India. The similarities between their respective supporting pieces of legislation are obvious. Both pieces of legislation impose stringent timelines for the conduct of proceedings, mandate confidentiality, obligate Indian courts to refer the parties to mediation or arbitration, provide a default mechanism for the appointment of a mediator or arbitrator, and prescribe the procedure for the termination of their mandate. Likewise, both ensure the impossibility of a mediated settlement agreement and an arbitral award, respectively. The establishment of a Mediation Council of India equally mirrors the proposal in 2019 to establish an Arbitration Council of India that is set to be implemented. Mediation and commercial arbitration are thus made allies, albeit at different stages of the same journey. Parliament's message to Indian industry is clear. In commercial matters, courts must no longer be the default venue for dispute resolution. Parties are expected to resolve their dispute amicably through mediation and alternatively through commercial arbitration. While the doors of Indian courts are open if required, this access must be perceived as a matter of last resort. To this extent, the Act will foster camaraderie between the mediation and arbitration of commercial disputes and reduce the burden on Indian courts. Service providers. In this context, a final key parallel emerges similar to how the recent amendments to the A and C Act prioritized institutional arbitration of disputes. The Act also places emphasis on institutional mediation in India. It envisages mediation service providers to provide not only the services of a mediator but also all the facilities, secretarial assistance, and infrastructure for the efficient conduct of mediation. A mediation service provider is synonymous and with arbitration institutions. India is already home to experienced arbitration institutions, some of which provide mediation services that are on a par with global best practices. These institutions are therefore expected to play a meaningful role in India's mediation journey. Only then would India become a global hub not only for arbitration but also for all aspects of commercial dispute resolution. This is about the industry disputes, litigation, and disputes. Let's go to the next page. What is in this? In Sathara murder during a prayer. On September 10, Narul Asan, a younger engineer who was soon to be a father, was killed by a mob inside in a mosque in Maharashtra Sathara district. The trigger of the mob violence was social media post to which Nurul had no connection. Abhina Deshpande reports on it another tragedy in a state that has been witnessing a spate of communal clashes of late. Communal clashes of late. Though the outpost was just a few meters away, the police did little to control the situation at first. The riot was targeted houses, commercial units, and vehicles belonging only to Muslims. How would they know that these belonged to Muslims unless this was pre planned? BJP member Piduri uses communal remarks in LS. BJP's Danish Ali writes to Speaker Umbillah about the heartbreaking incident. Opposition leaders demand BJP MP suspension. Words expunged from records. BJP issues show cause notice. Biduri's remarks must be probed by religious committee. Opposition. Meanwhile, delivers Friday's sermon after 4 years, calls for dialogue. Strong government with full majority led to passage of Women's Reservation Bill Modi. SC declines to consider plea for independent audit of source code of EVM system. 100% regret. Rahul on UPA's inability to bring reservation bill with OBC subquota. Civilians using trucks assembling hours in Manipur sees Assam rifles. Paramilitary force warns Manipur police that miscreants have converted used mini trucks by fainting and mocking Assam's rifle insignia. It orders that the vehicles may be used for anti-national activities to tarnish the image of the force. Manipur gives a report on stolen missing arms ammunition. Court grants bail to 5 suspects held in UAPA case. Congress wants intensive diplomatic contacts with Canada. Visa suspension for Canadian imposed at Indian missions globally. Lok Sabha adjourned sign die registers 160% productivity. Sanathan Dharma Row SC notice to Tamil Nadu government Udayanidhi. No coercive action against Trinamool leader HC. Quad ministers hold talks on rules-based order UN reform. They discuss helping countries respond to terror attacks. The joint reaffirms commitment to a free and open Indo-Pacific where disputes are settled in accordance with international law. External Affairs Minister kickstarts a 9-day visit to US. PM to flag up 9 Vande Bharat routes tomorrow. Marital rape petitions to be listed in mid-October CJI. SC rejects petitions to lift ban on sale use of firecrackers in Delhi. No signals from Vikram and Pragyan Space Agency. Any PG students will be offered at all available seats. Panel calls for revising rules of construction around protected ASI monuments. The 3 yogas. Israeli forces kill Palestinian militant in occupied West Bank. US Senator Menendez hit with bribery charges over Egypt ties. Karabakh separatist stronghold and encircled but a ceasefire holds. Syria China announced a strategic partnership ahead of Asian Games. Ukraine hits Russia's Black Sea Fleet base in Crimea. US talking to India about Canada border. NSC. US warns against attacks on diplomatic missions. Outrage grows over cases against Mohammad Yunus. Individuals undermining Bangladesh elections face US visa curbs. Oil price a concern but no alarm it. The tour imports to cool pulses prices. Some other food prices are easing already. And Finance Ministry emphasizes in monthly review of economy. Flag expansion deficits likely impact on Corp. Rabi crops are as another key risk to economic outlook. Revival could be derailed by lessers demands go first. SBI raises 10,000 crore via issue of infrastructure bonds. JP Morgan's decision to lower government's borrowing cost free of liquidity CEA. India E and G6 to attract 30 billion on entry into JPM's indices. TVS ILP's new warehouse to support US based first solar. Financial inclusion requires more rural ATMs. Data show textile exports likely reviving. Micron to break ground for 2.7 billion chip plant. Regency Ceramics draws up 100 crore plan to revive an Yanam unit. Rain dampens Indian contingent welcome ceremony flag hosting. When you get your rhythm, you get satisfaction from the deep inside. Winner to be richer by 4 million. The runner up by 2 million. Cicido, Car and Generato in Pipa Cusca's award nominations. India's road to Paris 2024 via Hangzhou. Successful day for Indian peddlers. Indian men's volleyball team enters quarterfinals. Coach Beg hopeful for rowing medals. Shami's 5-4 and a clinical chase give India a comprehensive win in first ODI. Moni's VR46 Bejechi and Marini top the time charts in pre-practices. Ducati factory rider and reigning champion Bagnai could only manage 7th fastest, and KTM's Binder finishes a disappointing 12th in the second session. MotoGP apologizes after showing distorted Indian map. Injured Naseem ruled out of World Cup as Hassan Ali returns. No refreshments, no work marshals. Nagelsmann named coach of Euro 2024 host to Germany. Red Bull's Max Verstappen dominates practice sessions. Aditya Swaminathan persists in MRF's F2000 category. Tahani claims the Karnataka Race Horse Owners Association Mysore 1000 guineas. Chief Minister Atmanirbhar Assam Bijan 2023. What is this exactly? Can PV Sindhu rediscover our rhythm in Hangzhou? Fast bikes, wild rides, brave guys. Here is the MotoGP cheat sheet. The inaugural Grand Prix of India gets underway at the Buddha International Circuit this weekend. What can you expect from the Premier Championship of two-wheelers? We have you covered. This is the last page, guys. I hope you guys at least read the newspaper for 2 hours to make you better in English communication. So don't stop just for what I'm stopping you. Just continue for 2 hours to make you better in communication, English communication. Really, I'm sure you will you will be very fluent in 30 days if you are practicing each and every day. So I hope you guys. I see you in the upcoming videos, guys. Please subscribe the channel, like and comment for more videos. If you guys have any doubts or comments, please leave the comment in the comment box so that I can come up with solutions for your doubts. See you in the upcoming videos. Have a great day. Bye bye. Take care.